Welcome to our channel where we bring you the most spine-chilling true horror stories, the kind that stay with you long after the lights go out. Stories whispered around campfires, passed down through generations, each one a chilling reminder that the world can be a much darker place than we imagine. Today, we have 6 terrifying tales that will keep you up at night. So, turn off the lights, lock your doors, and prepare yourself, for these stories are not for the faint of heart. Deep in the woods of Maine, miles from civilization, lay a place shrouded in mystery and fear. Stood a weathered cabin, seemingly abandoned, its wooden frame creaking with age and neglect. It was here that a group of friends, eager for a weekend escape from their daily lives, decided to test their courage and spend a few nights. The first night passed without incident, filled with laughter and stories shared under the starry sky. They felt a sense of camaraderie, the warmth of the fire warding off the chill of the night. But as the sun dipped below the horizon on the second night, a palpable chill settled over the cabin, an unsettling feeling that something was amiss. It began subtly, a floorboard creaking under unseen weight, a whisper of wind against the shuttered windows, as if the cabin itself was coming alive. Then, the distinct feeling of being watched, eyes unseen boring into their backs, making the hairs on their necks stand on end. Objects began to move, seemingly on their own, defying the laws of physics and reason. A book tumbled from the shelf, its pages fluttering open to reveal a passage about a restless spirit, a soul trapped between worlds. Whispers floated on the air, cold and disembodied, sending shivers down their spines. The voices seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Fear turned to terror when one of the friends, venturing out to investigate a noise, vanished without a trace, swallowed by the darkness. The remaining friends, paralyzed by fear, huddled together, the silence punctuated by the pounding of their hearts. They clung to each other, seeking comfort in their shared terror. They wouldn't dare venture out into the darkness, not while whatever claimed their friend still lurked in the shadows. The forest, once a place of adventure, had become a prison of fear. They whispered plans of escape, but the fear of the unknown kept them rooted in place. Every creak, every rustle of leaves outside heightened their anxiety. As dawn finally broke, the first light of day piercing through the trees, they felt a glimmer of hope. The terror of the night seemed to recede with the darkness. They gathered their belongings and left the cabin, vowing never to return. As they walked away, they couldn't help but look back, the cabin standing silent and ominous in the morning light. The cabin remained, a silent witness to the night's events, its secrets buried deep within its walls, waiting for the next group of unsuspecting visitors. It started with a feeling, a prickling at the back of her neck, the sensation of eyes watching her every move. At first she dismissed it as nerves, the city's natural undercurrent of unease. But the feeling persisted, growing stronger with each passing day. She'd catch glimpses of a figure lurking in the periphery of her vision, always just out of sight. A dark silhouette across the street, a fleeting reflection in a shop window. Her calls started going straight to voicemail, messages left unheard and unanswered. Then came the notes, slipped under her door, each one a chilling escalation of twisted affection and veiled threats. Her once safe haven, her apartment, now felt like a cage, every creak and groan a potential sign of her stalker's presence. Sleep became a distant memory, replaced by a constant state of hypervigilance, her every thought consumed by the unseen menace that haunted her waking hours. She was trapped in a nightmare, the line between reality and paranoia blurring with each passing moment. Mrs. Hemings, a fixture in their quiet suburban cul-de-sac, was gone. One day she was tending her roses, a warm smile gracing her wrinkled face. The next, her house stood eerily silent. It began with the mail piling up, then the newspapers scattered on the porch untouched. Concern turned to worry, then to a gnawing sense of dread as days turned into weeks with no sign of the elderly woman. The police searched, neighbors whispered, but Mrs. Hemings was nowhere to be found. Her disappearance remained a haunting mystery, a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of the ordinary. Some whispered of foul play, others of a more sinister, unexplainable vanishing. But the truth, whatever it may be, remained locked away in the empty house at the end of the street, a silent monument to the unknown. The old Victorian house had stood for over a century, its attic a dark and dusty repository of forgotten memories. The once grand structure now bore the marks of time, with its peeling paint and creaking timbers telling tales of a bygone era. When the Thompson family moved in, they dismissed the strange noises coming from the attic as nothing more than the settling of an old house. They were excited to start a new chapter in their lives, unaware of the eerie history that lingered within the walls. But as the days turned into weeks, the sounds grew more persistent, more unsettling. The creaks and groans of the house seemed to take on a life of their own, echoing through the halls at all hours of the night. Footsteps echoed through the empty space above, heavy and deliberate, as if someone was pacing the attic floor. The family began to feel a constant, unnerving presence, as though they were never truly alone. Objects moved on their own, furniture scraped against the wooden floorboards, and disembodied whispers seemed to seep through the cracks in the ceiling. The whispers were faint but unmistakable, carrying a sense of urgency and sorrow. One night, young Emily Thompson, awakened by the sound of her name being whispered, ventured into the attic, her heart pounding in her chest. She had always been curious and brave, but this night tested her courage like never before. The air grew heavy, the temperature plummeting as she climbed the stairs. Each step felt like a journey into the unknown, the cold seeping into her bones and making her shiver uncontrollably. A cold, unseen hand brushed against her cheek, sending her fleeing in terror. The touch was icy and unnatural, leaving her with a sense of dread that she couldn't shake off. From that night forward, the attic remained sealed, its secrets locked away, a constant reminder of the unseen presence that shared their home. The family never spoke of it again, but the memory of that night lingered, a silent testament to the ghost in the attic. In the dimly lit corner of an antique shop, nestled among dusty relics and forgotten treasures, lay a beautiful silver locket. It called to Sarah, its intricate design and sparkling gemstones whispering promises of forgotten elegance. She purchased it without hesitation, unaware of the darkness that clung to its cold metal. Almost immediately, Sarah's life began to unravel. Nightmares plagued her sleep, vivid and terrifying, filled with shadowy figures and whispered threats. Her reflection in the mirror seemed to distort, her once vibrant eyes now hollow and cold. Misfortune followed her like a curse, relationships crumbled and her health deteriorated. It was only when she removed the locket, its once alluring weight now unbearably heavy, that she felt a glimmer of relief. The nightmares subsided, the shadows receded, and a sense of normalcy slowly returned. The locket, now a chilling reminder of its sinister power, was returned to the antique shop, left to tempt another unsuspecting soul with its deceptive beauty. The desolate stretch of Route 66, known for its eerie beauty and haunting legends, has long been a source of fascination and fear for travelers. This iconic highway, once bustling with life, now stands as a silent witness to countless stories and secrets buried in its asphalt. Among these tales, none is more chilling than that of the Phantom Hitchhiker. Motorists, passing through late at night, would often report seeing a lone figure standing by the roadside, thumb outstretched, seeking a ride. Those who dared to stop would find themselves face to face with a young woman, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and desperation. She would climb into the back seat, her touch icy cold, sending shivers down the spine of even the bravest souls. As the car moved forward, the atmosphere would grow increasingly tense. The hitchhiker would ask to be taken to a nearby town, her voice barely above a whisper, yet echoing with an otherworldly resonance. But upon arrival, the hitchhiker would vanish into thin air, leaving behind only an empty seat and a lingering sense of unease that would haunt the driver for days. Some whispered she was the ghost of a young woman who had died tragically on that very road, searching for a way home. Others claimed she was a harbinger of misfortune, her presence a warning of danger ahead. The stories varied, but the core of the legend remained the same. An encounter with the Phantom Hitchhiker was an experience one would never forget. Her presence was said to be a test of courage and compassion. Those who showed kindness by offering her a ride were often left with a sense of melancholy, as if they had touched the edge of another world. Those who ignored her, however, would sometimes find themselves plagued by a series of unfortunate events, as if the road itself was punishing them for their lack of empathy. Whatever the truth, the legend of the Phantom Hitchhiker continued to haunt the lonely stretch of Route 66, a chilling reminder that some roads are best left untraveled. The stories passed down through generations kept the memory of the ghostly figure alive, ensuring that her tale would never be forgotten. So, the next time you find yourself driving down Route 66 at night, keep your eyes on the road and your heart open. You never know who or what you might encounter on this haunted highway. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more spine-chilling tales from the dark corners of our world. Sleep tight, and remember, sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that are true. Sweet dreams, if you dare.